in Northern Uganda on the board of Legal Aid Service Providers Network. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to you all. My name is Badru Walusansa, and I work with the Legal Aid Service Providers Network in the capacity of Director of Programs. Happy to be here.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Nas Kusama.
My name is Elise Emmanuel. I work for Tessorel Justice.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Ruth Desire. I work with Rising There. I work with Rising Voices. We are based in Kamocha. We work to prevent violence against women and children, and we also work with faith-based institutions.
Thank you.
Morning, everyone. I'm Nakaliowa Juliet from now Kampala. I work as a member Luweero District Women's Network.
Good morning, all. My name is Mcjl. I work with the Women Leadership Development. Our focus is on sustainable development for women and youth.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
My name is Richard Chitio, substantively I work as a Principal Gender Officer from the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. And I'm here to represent my Commissioner, Dr. Angela Nakafero, who has sent you greetings. She may join in, she may not, because of very busy schedule. Nice to be here. Thank you.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Thomas Nsuga. I work as the Monitoring and Evaluation Officer for the Women of Uganda Network. We advocate for the inclusive use of ICT for women and girls in Uganda. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Achiro Sadikamusa. I am the PPS to the Secretary for Women and Children, Uganda Muslim Spring Council. I also double as a senior consultant at Zia Consults. We provide guidance and counseling to women and children.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
The name is Naka Charamla. I'm an advocate. I work at the Muslim Center for Justice and Law under the Legal Aid.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hadija Nansuruga. I work with Paradigm for Social Justice and Movement.
Thank you very much. Wow. Now that we know whoever is in the room, and I now know that we have Her Excellency, the Guild President, in our midst. We're very honored to have you, Madam. And the fact that we are talking about women in Islam, the right of Muslim women to participate in the public domain in Uganda, surely this is the best audience to be heard. Thank you very much. Having heard from everyone, I would like to also request Mr. Antambi to come officially introduce yourself. We know everyone in the room apart from you. Eh?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Councillor Shima. I'm called Musa Antambi. I'm the co-founder, Muslim Center for Justice and Law. The CEO, Align Edge Consult. I think I served my time, 10 years, at Mcjl, and I had to leave the New Blood to take over this organization. I think after the introduction, we've gotten to know whoever is here, and it is this opportune moment to you. Yeah. Let me take this opportunity to invite the President, Muslim Center for Justice and Law, His Excellency, Council Nyanzi Umar, to give the opening remarks. Then you also invite the board who knows the ups and downs of MCJL. Madam Munira, inshallah. Mr. Jans.
I really think it's very fair for us to give him a round of applause as he joins in. He's the big man at Muslim Center for Justice and Law. Really, thank you so much for being here with us. I wanted to give his biography. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Antambi and Chima for the warm introduction. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning. It's my honor to welcome you to this event, the 4th Annual Muslim Human Rights Conference. This is the 4th of its kind ever since our inception as Muslim Center for Justice and Law. Let me take this opportunity to observe the protocol, the religious leaders present in the room, both from Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, from Office of the Supreme Mufti, from Nakasero, from Ahmadiyya, from the other faith, the Christian faith, and all the others. We welcome you. I'd like to welcome my bosses, the board members here present. I'd like to welcome the development partners, the Royal Danish Embassy, and I think the Dutch representative from the Dutch Embassy will be joining us very soon. I'd like to welcome the funders, the Faith to Action Network. Thank you for joining us and for supporting the GISRA program. I'd like to welcome the civil society organizations like you introduced. Ms. Antab, I'm happy that everyone got opportunity to introduce. Sometimes we go into conferences and the person goes unnoticed. So thank you very much. All CSOs, I cannot mention one by one, but I'd like to welcome you all, Uganda Lawyers Muslim Fraternity, the LASPNet, and all the others. Thank you very much. I'd like to welcome the GISRA implementing partners. GISRA is a consortium with whom we co-implement with other partners. We co-implement GISRA with Cho Religious Peace Leaders Initiative, Church of Uganda Tedo, Terelepa, and Wolfborn. Thank you very much for honoring our invite. We really value the collaboration. I would like to welcome the Mensen Metenmisi, the difficult name. The Mensen Metenmisi is a consortium partner in the GISRA program that supports the GISRA program, but also considered MCJL for a new program that will run from this year to 2031. So we really appreciate the support from the I would like to thank those who have joined online. We are having people joining online from our field offices in Yumbe. I don't know whether the IT team can bring them on board. Joining from Yumbe, joining from Bujiri, joining from Kenya and the other countries. We thank you for the patience, and please bear with us until the end of the program. Yes, I also like to thank the media for being part of the event and for supporting the center ever since we began. This year's theme, we want to address Muslim women, the right of Muslim women to participate in the public domain in Uganda. Muslim Center for Justice and Law since 2010 has been intentional in finding redress to problems affecting the Muslim community. And we've been particular about problems affecting the women and children. And among the challenges that have been key has been the question on whether Muslim women can participate in the public domain or not, and whether and how should they do it if they are allowed. Dr. Hafiz, I'm happy that you are here. Those are some of the questions that we grapple with. We've seen challenges where funds come, PDM, grow, and Muslim women say, oh, we cannot take this money because of our faith. Our faith does not allow us to do this and this and this. We've seen challenges with association. We cannot associate because of religious beliefs. And we ask ourselves whether that is the order of the day or whether there are some liberating texts to say that we can have full participation of the Muslim woman in the public space. So we intend to explore those waters, and we are happy that the panel has different people of different expertise that will address us on the subject. We intend that it will not end in this room, but we intend to have actionable recommendations and to follow them up to see that we can enhance the participation of the Muslim woman in the public domain. We call upon you to contribute to the discussion. This is an open space, and all views matter in this room. As Muslim Center, you are not coming as experts in this room, but we've invited you because we want to learn from you, and we'd like you to enrich our discussion. So we shall be happy to hear from you and learn from you as we go along this discussion. In a special way, I would like to thank the Faith to Action Network. The network has been key in making sure that some religious biases, misconceptions are eliminated. So we've been with the F2A for the last 10 years from the credit program, and we are happy that they are supporting us in organizing this year's conference. So please, Judy, please convey our thanks to Peter and the team. We really appreciate. A hand of I would like to thank my team that organized this conference. It was led by our legal aid manager, Maya, and Nambi. Hamida, you can stand up. Let the MCJL team stand up for recognition, wherever you are. Can you invite people outside to come such that they can be recognized? I don't want to say that they are going to come for recognition. Thank you. Thank you for working together in driving this conference home. Lastly, I would like to thank the team. Mr. Antambi said that he's the co-founder of the organization with Dr. Munira. We thank you for the good idea of coming up with the Muslim Center for Justice and Law. And I'm happy that on your foundation, we are building such nice initiatives. Thank you, Mr. Jefferson and Nabzensha, Mr. Antambi, Dr. Munira, Mr. Kabega Musa, and Mr. Yahya. We undertake to continue on the foundation that you build for us. I'm happy to report that during my 5-year tenure, which is ending this year in December, I've been happy to serve, and I thank the board for the opportunity to serve the center for this year, for these 5 years. I'm happy that Muslim Center for Justice and Law has outgrown the founder syndrome, and in the 14 years we are going to have a third president. We do not take that for granted. And also in my tenure, we've seen other organizations coming up. Mr. Antambi, I started with him, but is now a CEO of another organization for Muslim Social Development and Justice. You can stand up, don't say that. I'm also happy that our former legal aid manager, Hadija, also, they started an organization called Paradigm for Social Justice and Development. You can stand up for recognition. So please, those are the babies of MCJL. So wherever they are, please give them support as you've already supported the center. That's how we do it at Muslim Center. In case a person exits, we can still work together and uplift each other. And I encourage all of us to give each other a hand. It's my singular honor to welcome you to this conference. Thank you very much for honoring our invite. And at this juncture, I would like to invite Dr. Munira Mbabazi. She's our treasurer to the board. She has expertise and experience in civil society work. She's a very passionate Muslim, and she's one of the humblest people that you can ever meet in the city. Dr. Munira, it is my honor to welcome you to give a word to this gathering. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I'm happy to be here with you today, and I am indeed honored to welcome you here to this occasion, the 4th Human Rights Conference. As earlier presented, my name is Munira Mbabazi, and I am the treasurer to the board of the Muslim Center for Justice and Law. So thank you very much for coming through on this auspicious occasion. First and foremost, I would like to again thank you for taking time off, especially during this busy moment of the year, when everyone is closing out and meetings are running back and forth, but you chose to come and stand with us as we try to navigate what it takes for us to program and implement within the spheres of religion and also society. So basically, my role today is a small one, and I would like us to reflect on a few things here today. One, as we gather as different CSOs, especially brought together by our faiths. I want us to think about the shrinking civic space. It is very important for us to understand what this exactly means for us and what it takes for us to implement in this kind of space. It is common knowledge today that the civic space in Uganda is continuously decreasing, and there are very many contributing factors to this. Many of them come through politically, many are related to religion, so our spaces continue to shrink depending on our religious affiliations, depending on our political affiliations. So, and that means quite a lot for us as CSOs. If you posture yourself in a particular way, chances are very high you may be read wrongly or you may be read rightly. So how do we strike this kind of balance as we try to look at ourselves as people that are out there to work towards or to work with our communities towards development and also contribute to government programs. As CSOs, quite often we say that we are complementing government programming, but many times we find ourselves in a situation where the whip is cracked on us. And this is largely because we have challenges around trust. We do not trust each other as CSOs and also as players in the field. So the government does not trust us quite enough. And sometimes we also don't trust ourselves, which is a detriment to our development agenda. So as we try to navigate and reflect on what the shrinking civic space means for us, I think it is my humble request that we reflect on our policies and laws within which we operate. I'm glad to learn, to hear that there are quite a number of organizations doing advocacy work. Can we work around advocacy and we see how we influence policy and consequently programming in this country? Then, with increased surveillance, like I earlier said, how we posture ourselves directly determines how we look at, how the key players look at us. So there is continuous surveillance and monitoring of the works that we do. And as we continue to look at that, I think it is important that we look at sensitive issues quite critically and how we want to address them. And then, yes, how do we then, in that regard, address issues around harassment and intimidation? So can anyone proudly stand up and say they represent a particular agenda without being harassed or without facing any degree of intimidation? And all this comes through depending on what networks we cultivate out there. So it is important that as we do our programming in the different areas where we work, that we make courtesy calls through these different offices and make our agenda quite clearly understood. So I'm glad that the peace program is coming through for us to do that for the next 8 years. And I would like to implore all of us that are participating under the peace program, and even those that are collaborating with us on the same issue, to ensure that in the end of it all, we are here to ensure that the communities that we work with are strengthened as peace builders that transform community and society. It is a little bit a volatile environment in terms of politics, in terms of religion. So we've seen quite a lot of clashes around those issues, especially among the youth and sometimes the elders. So it is important that we work towards transforming those issues within society. And also, as we look at the peace program, it is very important for us to look at what our societies look like. Our societies go a long way in cultivating what we believe or what we call the norms, and these are socially integrated. They form the moral fiber of our communities, and it is therefore important that as we work in advocacy, we work towards transforming the mindsets of the people and consequently working in addressing the social norms, cultural norms, and also some religious norms that may impede our participation. So as I conclude I would like to speak briefly to the theme, today's theme, women in Islam. How can women in general participate in these different spaces? I'm glad to stand here as a woman, and I'm proud to look through the environment and see that there is a good representation of the women. So at these, These are small steps that we are taking. These are small steps that we are taking. Back in the years or back in time, it was unlikely to sit in such a crowd. And I'm even especially happy because many fora that I sit in, I'm often the only veiled person. What a glory, subhanallah, to stand here and see very many veiled heads contributing to societal transformation. I'm very proud and happy to mention that. So yes, our participation in Islam, rather our participation in a public domain has been misconstrued. I remember when I was in high school, at some point we attended, I don't remember what exactly it was, but one of our leaders had pronounced themselves and said that Muslims don't go to school. So, but I have been through school. Today I stand here with a doctorate in nutrition. So I'm a testament of Muslim women going to school. And when that happened, we went to meet those leaders. We were gathered as students. We went to meet leaders and tried to show that these are girls in school and this is Muslims' contribution to education. So many of these issues around our participation have been defined by religion, have been defined by culture, have been defined by society. And our role is to break those barriers. And I believe with the peace program, where we are looking at how we can work with different structures, how we can work with the youth, it is very important that we drum this quite up ahead and ensure that everyone participates in the spaces equally. Not leaving behind, I would like also to mention that our participation as women has also been mainly catalyzed by society, especially around gender roles. It is very fine for me to come here and work and still go back home and work like I had not even started working throughout the whole day. So our gender and social norms undermine what women contribution can do towards society. But I believe, and I have seen quite a number of women transform their lives, participate in public spaces. Today we have women MPs, we have women ministers, we have our vice president is a woman. So that is already participation. So let's take these small steps as significant steps and also upload them and also hold the hands of other people that want to come up. So I'm glad that we have a young leader here from the Muslim campus. The sky is the limit. Don't let anything bring you down. You can do it, and you can achieve much more than you ever thought you would achieve. So let's continue working with the youth. Let's continue working with the women in transforming their lives. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for coming through today. We look forward to more deliberations on this important matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I request that you still stand up front there. I request that you invite Mr. John Oja, Jude Amok, the programs manager, Gisela, to say a word to this audience.
All right, thank you very much. With the what do I call it? With the rights given to me, I'm glad to invite the GISRA program manager, Mr. Jude, to come and say a word to this noble congregation. Thank you very much.
He's online. I think Legacy will. Can we have him say a word, or we can have the representative from the country director, the focal person, to say a word before we can have John say a word, because we are using technology to have him. Yes, Mr. for a word to this.
I think our names were almost confusing because the other one is also called Judy. Then this one is also called John. So sometimes it becomes difficult. I was hearing John, Judy, so I almost remained seated, but I know technology takes time. I also trust that Jude will be online and she will be able to share. Thank you so much, Mcjl, for giving us also an invitation to come and say one or two things. I'm John Ojao, and by the time we received this, the invite, we're told that we're going to have the Right Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda attend this function. I pray that she may also come, and the different leaders. So permit me adopt the protocol that is already set. And our dear distinguished guests this morning, I want to greet you and say good morning. My name is John. As I already said, I work for Mensen Meten Missie. Mensen Meten Missie is a Dutch word, and so it is very difficult to pronounce when you're not used to it. You can easily bite your tongue. But it means people with a mission. Yeah, that is what it means. Mensen Meten Missie has its head office in The Hague, that is in the Kingdom of the Netherlands. And it is also a faith-based organization which works across the globe and strategically works with the local partners in the different countries where it operates. Currently, in Uganda, Mensen Meten Missie has been supporting a number of organizations for quite long. I can attest that for over 20 years, Mensen Meten Missie has been operating. We do not have a physical office here in Uganda, but it works in a way that we have representation. That's why I represent as the in-country focal point person for the GISRA program. GISRA is Joint Initiative for Strategic Religious Action. And so, also currently, Mensen Meten Missie is implementing 3 projects. One is the Joint Initiative for Strategic Religious Action, where we are implementing together with Face to Action. These are the consortium partners that are supporting local partners in the country. And Face to Action supports also 3 partners, and Mensen Meten Missie supports also 3 partners here in the country. One project that we've just introduced, that is the Peace Project, where we are looking at contributing to a peaceful and a safe society. Of recent, we brought on board Mcjl, Muslim Center for Justice and Law, and I'm glad that I have been part and parcel in bringing on board Mcjl. When I was asked to recommend one of the partners to do national advocacy, I remember the first organization that came into my mind was Mcjl. Because of the partnership and the friendship that I've also over time built with my friend, the president of Mcjl. So I'm glad that is taking on Mcjl for the next 7-8 years to implement the Peace Project. We also have the other basic program that has been implemented for over 18 to 20 years now, and they're addressing issues relating to peace building and conflict transformation in Teso, Karamoja, and also in the Acholi land. And so, the GISRA project is not only implemented in Uganda, but it's also implemented in Mali, Kenya, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Iraq, and Uganda. This project has been, its major focus is mainly doing advocacy on freedom of religion and belief. over time, you notice there have been a number of things that have been happening, and the context that was prevailing around that time from 2000 and 2021 is what informed the design of the GISRA project. And so where MCGL is participating is one of our local partners that is funded directly by Face to Action. Reflecting on the concept paper that was shared with us, I would like that we utilize this conference to forge a way forward to help unlock the Islamic women potential to participate in the in the public domain. This should not only be seen in the political leadership, but also look at areas in terms of the religious spaces, business, civil service, and other decision-making spheres. Through the GISRA project, we had a program called participatory grant making. And in this, it focused on, MCGL was the first organization to implement this program in Bujiri, if I'm right. And so it was seeking to empower women and the youth in decision-making spaces and to make their own decision and even to choose the kind of project, what they would wish to do. So I would ask that one of these kind of approaches should be adopted and also help other women also grow. On the 17th of October, we had a panel discussion. And in that panel discussion, I'm glad that some of the people, my sister here was one of the panelists who did a good job in dissecting the participation of women. And I want to pray that this will be an inspiration also as we do this discussion. For me, in my last month sharing with the organizations that I directly supervise, I noticed that that dialogue, that panel discussion that we had, did not only remain in the house at the Hotel Africana, but people who were there got inspired. I can attest to you, those who participated, that when some of the people went back, they went and did more advocacy. They went and did more advocacy. To me, I felt joy in my heart that out of the people who attended the panel discussion, one man went back. This is a man. He went back and inspired his assembly or a parish. He is from a Pentecostal church and advocated, convinced the leadership there to bring women into the religious space. And one lady got more inspired and expressed her willingness to undertake a theological training. To me, on the 9th, on Monday, she will be beginning her theological journey for 2 years to become a pastor after the 2 years training. So for me, I don't take these kind of discussions for granted. This will, at least from this, we should be able to not only discuss from here, and the discussion remains in the room. The discussion should go further. That is how we can be able to inspire more women to come up, to take up responsibility, and harness the opportunities that are available. I trust there are many opportunities, but how can women rise to take advantage of the opportunities that are there? As mentioned, Missy, we are willing to contribute further to the achievement of the goals that probably MCGL has. And therefore, we look forward for further collaboration with MCGL and other partners who are like-minded. At that note, therefore, I want to take this singular and rare opportunity on behalf of my global coordinator, Madam Christina Masdam, to warmly welcome you to this conference, where we are discussing about the women in Islam, the rights of Muslim women to participate in this public domain. I want to wish you a fruitful discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Jude. John. Thank you, Jude, for John. Thank you, John, for those wonderful highlights that you've put across. You know, there's J. When it is J, I mean John, Jude. Eh? Yeah. So thank you very much for those wonderful insights that you've put across. I pray that the young blood in MCJL can pick from his words, then see how they can impact onto our communities down there. I request Legacy to display what Jude was supposed to say here. He has walked to another meeting, but he has said that what he had to say, he has shared it, and it can be relayed on the screens here, such that you can have a look and take some of those highlights that he has put across. Then after, we shall go to the main event of the day. Thank you. Legacy. It is faint. I request Councillor Shima to read for us. She still has the eyes to see over there.
Unfortunately, I'm also borrowing, so. Okay, I think this is a presentation. She says, please receive congratulations from the Faith to Action Network on this memorable achievement. At Faith to Action Network, we believe that many harmful practices against women, such as forced marriages, female genital mutilation, FGM in brackets, and other terror killings, are often wrongly justified using misinterpretation of Islamic teachings. She says that discussing women's rights within Islam helps to counter these harmful interpretations and promote a more just and equitable understanding of Islamic principles. This meeting is very important because it also allows for candid, brave, and hard conversations. She thanks MCJL for organizing this meeting, and she would love to be with us, but she's actually here with us in spirit. That being the presentation, please receive. I would like to, I don't know, is it Mesen, Meten, Misi? Mesen, Mensen, Meten, Misi. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm learning French. I'm telling you. Thank you. It's Dutch. I'm adding it to my CV. I've learned Mensen, Meten, Misi. It's also okay for you guys to learn. Thank you very much. It is? We are Mensen, Meten, Misi. People with a mission. Okay.
Thank you very much, Councillor Shima. We thank Faith to Action Network for this, the work they're doing, and even having us be here to see how we can better our. Allow me this time to introduce to you the lady, the one and only, Hajat Shekat. There's something I marked from her. She's the first female candidate to sit Islamic primary education, reverse education exams in Uganda. The first. Doesn't she deserve a clap? So she was a very strong lady by then. Allow me invite Hajat Shekat, Rauda Namakula, as our presenter today. I'll give you her biography as she walks here. Hajat, please, you're most welcome. Please, a hand of applause.
Ajati Shekat Rawda Namakula Hamis. She's a female Ugandan, an Islamic scholar, and a PhD student of Islamic studies. She has rich experience and expertise in academia, women empowerment, and children programs. She has been the brain trust of the Women Inclusion in Uganda Muslim Council leadership. Shekat Rawda has served as a lecturer of Islamic studies for 10 years at IUIU. She's the proprietor of a primary school, a teacher, Hamdan Girls High School. She also serves as the vice chairperson of Uganda Muslim Teachers Association, which has served for 10 years. Shekat happened to be a deputy principal of the Islamic Call University, which she did for 3 years. She served as an adjudicator for the Women Award and a member of the Civil Society Advisory Board of the UN Women in Uganda. She is also an alumni of the International Visitors Leadership Program of the US Mission. She is also the patroness of the Association of Shekats and her Hafidats, Uganda. She's currently heading the Women and Children Affairs Department at the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. She's also serving as a treasurer to the Interfaith Women of Uganda, the female arm of the Interreligious Council of Uganda. Shekat Rawda is a senior consultant with Zaya Smart Consults, passionate about public speaking and keynote speeches, speaks English, Arabic, Swahili, and many other languages. Shekat Rawda, she is married and blessed with 5 children. Join her to celebrate the 26th wedding anniversary. I think she deserves a clap. These days, want to be there a week. You can feel it. And her 52nd birthday this December. She's a December baby. She has developed a political ambition of standing as the MP for Women District, inshallah, Wakiso. So, join me to welcome Hajat Rawda Shekat Namakula to give her presentation. I think, can we clap? You people have just had prayer. Someone who's profiled to that level, I think she deserves it. I told you she's the first female. You know, we didn't have girls sitting for those exams. They are only for the boys. But for her, she stood the odds to sit for those exams. Thank you, Hajat, for being here today, and thanks for being an academia. We wait to listen from you.
Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. I'll begin by correcting the true pronunciation of my name. My name is Shekat Radiya. My tribe calls me Razia. If you have ever heard of those people. I'm not Rawda, I'm Radiya. Namakula, and my third name is Kamis. The rest are as read above. Allow me to read by the previous protocol that has been already observed. And I've been tasked to handle this animal in the room, women in Islam, the right of Muslim women to participate in the public domain in Uganda. It is general, it is quite a big thing, but we may go into sub-topics. I'm told I should use 30 minutes and it should begin counting now. Okay. To begin with, it is both an honor and a duty to stand before you today to address a subject that lies at the heart of social justice, progress, and faith. Our theme today is Women in Islam, the rights of Muslim women to participate in public domain of Uganda. The theme invites us to unmask both the misconceptions and the misperceptions in order to illuminate the importance of Muslim women in Uganda's journey towards growth and equity. In simpler terms, I didn't like to define this, in simpler terms, today's theme is meant to investigate the legal, social, or ethical principles of freedom and entitlement of Muslim women to take part in the public domain without any form of restriction. I think we are agreeing that that is our area of investigation. The context. This is now what is underlying now. As we discussed, this is now a fact, this is real, this is happening. There are 3 points here. One, the Muslim community in Uganda embraced secular education 50 years later than their Christian counterparts. It is hard to have Muslims, both men and women. It is hard to have Muslims on the many public service commissions because they require retired civil servants. So as we discuss the Muslim women participation in public domain, we should bear in mind that the Muslim community in general, including the men, has gotten underlying factors that limit their participation in the public domain of Uganda. This is now general, then we shall narrow it to more specific context. The second point here is that the fact that some public offices need what they call smartness in their context, a specific dress code makes Muslim women uncomfortable, and henceforth they lose interest in the public domain and resort to the private sector. Those are facts, those are realities. Thirdly, the question of geographical transfers, as many public service may require, makes the Muslim women uncomfortable since they have strong religious bondings with their families. We need to investigate actually the specific figures of Muslim women who have quit public service before reaching the official retirement age. So by public domain here, we specifically attributed it to government-influenced areas until later in the speech. So understanding women's rights in Islam. From the very beginning, Islam has emphasized the dignity, equity, and significance of Muslim women. In observation of the 5 pillars of Islam, for example, Salah, Zakah, Shahada, Saum, these are technical terms, which means the daily prayers, the fasting of Ramadan, the pilgrimage that we do in Mecca, all those are pillars of Islam. We are saying that both men and women execute these religious rituals in the same way, except for a few details. So we go into the same prayer, much as there are some details of covering, but the thing is, we go for the same prayer. Similarly, punishments that are due to sins of omission and sins of commission, e.g., murder, fornication, theft, adultery, shirk, are all administered in the same way with less regard to one's sex. That is Islam now. Furthermore, life after death prescribes similar punishment and reward to both men and women, i.e. sinners go to hell and good and righteous go to paradise. We only have one destination called hell, another destination called paradise. We don't have specific destination for men or specific destination for women. It is on the above background, ladies and gentlemen, that Muslim women are entitled to participate in the key aspects of life, including Islamic rituals, public, private sectors, economic growth, politics, etc., etc. Islamic injunctions that stipulate economic rights and business transactions use the word minun, or believers, so refer to both men and women. So just like men, Muslim women have the right to pursue education, engage in economic activities, and contribute meaningfully to public life. These values are embedded in our faith, empowering Muslim women to be agents of economic growth. A good example of it is in Surah Al-Imran, Quran 3, verse 134. Allah says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la ta'kulu riba adha'afan mudha'afa. O you who believe, do not consume usury, doubled and multiplied amongst you, but fear Allah that you may be successful. So riba is prohibited to both men and women as we transact business. Another example is in the case of inheritance. Surah An-Nisa, Quran chapter 4, verse 7, Allah says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, lirijali nasibu mimma taraka al-walidani wal-aqrabun, walinisai nasibu mimma taraka al-walidani wal-aqrabun, mimma qalla minhu aw kasura. For men is a share of what the parents and close relatives leave. And for women is a share of what the parents and close relatives leave, be it little or much, an obligatory share. This means that Quran addresses us as equal in both rights and responsibilities. The subsequent verses of Surah An-Nisa chapter 4 draw more light on the specifics of other exact shares. Please note that as we discuss women's rights to participate in the public domain in Uganda, we need to bear in mind the broader universal nature of Islam. The broader universal nature of Islam to which Muslim women in Uganda solely subscribe. So the Quran is universal. As we quote it, we should bear in mind that other countries are using the same text. So there are high chances that the participation of Muslim women in Uganda's public domain is similar to that of other countries, or even worse in other Islamic countries. You may find statistics differing. So all this information, I'm sorry I tried to summarize it, but this information is very important. The different schools of thought. This is quite technical. The most significant million-dollar question here is whether or not Islam allows Muslims to take part in the public domain. I think that is what at the back of each one of us, and we are silently dying, and we are here to unmask. Now, there is this Quran has the following to say. Surah Ahzab, Quran 33:28. Kindly note these numbers. Chapter 33, verse 28, Surah Ahzab, up to 35. One disease that really eats our scholarly work is to quote the Quran in isolation. Somebody just speaks one word and then goes with it. We want to read this context from verse 28 to 34. So Adika, get me a hanky. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, O Prophet, say to your wives, if you should desire the worldly life and its adornment, then come, I will provide for you and give you a gracious release. And that is one verse now. That is 28. The next verse says, but if you seek Allah and his messenger and the home of the hereafter, then indeed Allah has prepared for the doers of right amongst you a great reward. O wives of the Prophet, whoever of you should commit a clear immorality, for her the punishment will be doubled too. Underline that. For her the punishment will be doubled twofold, and ever is that for Allah easy. And whoever of you devotedly obeys Allah and His Messenger and does righteous, we will give her reward twice. Underline that. We will give her reward twice, and we have prepared for her a noble provision. O wives of the Prophet, you are not like anyone among women. Underline that. O wives of the Prophet, you are not like anyone among women. If you fear Allah, then do not be soft in speech to men, lest he in whose heart is disease should covet, but speak with appropriate speech. And abide in your houses. Underline. And abide in your houses, and do not display yourselves as the display of former times of ignorance, and establish prayer and give zakat and obey Allah and His Messenger. Allah intends only to remove you from the impurity, meaning sin, to remove you from impurity, all people of the Prophet's household, and to purify you with extensive purification. Lastly, and remember what is recited in your houses of the verses of Allah and wisdom. Indeed, Allah is ever subtle and acquainted with all things. These are a series of verses, and in specific terms, the above verses were addressed to the Prophet's wives. And the following were the key points to note, among others. One, that the Prophet's wives are not like any other woman. The second point is that in case of immorality, their punishment is doubled. And in case of good deeds, their rewards are doubled. Then the fourth point is that Allah intends to purify the Prophet's household. Another example of specific punishment, because here we are emphasizing that if a Prophet's wife commits immorality, the way she's punished is not the way we the ordinary women are punished. Another example of specified punishment is in Surah An-Nisa, Quran 4, verse 25. It was addressing men who marry slaves, like captives of war. And in the Quran, we have the following. And whoever amongst you cannot find the means to marry a free believing woman, then he may marry from those whom your right hands possess. In quotes, in brackets, slave. But once they are sheltered in marriage, if they should commit adultery, then for them is half the punishment, underline, is half the punishment of a free and married woman. This is for him amongst you who fear sin, but to be patient is better for you, and Allah is forgiving and merciful. The verses above categorize the religious punishment as follows. Superior women get superior punishment. Ordinary women get ordinary punishment, and inferior women get an inferior punishment.